Hi everyone, I hope you're all good. I hope you are all well. Yeah, I've been a bit conflicted, and guys, please excuse this office chair. It's making some strange noise. But I've been conflicted whether to go live or to do this video. But let me rather do this video. So today is the 30th of December 2023. We are wrapping this year up. Unbelievable. And to God be the glory. We are alive and kicking. And welcome. This is Tisha Oliphant, born and bred in South Africa. And yes, I'm still sharing my travel journey. I've got so much to share, so little time. And I thought I'll sit and do this video before I go out for supper, because I guess tomorrow it will be too hectic to even leave the house, because it will be New Year's Eve festivities. And if you are new here, welcome, welcome, and a warm welcome. If you belong to this awesome, amazing, growing family, thank you so much for subscribing, for commenting, for liking, for sharing. It means the world to me. Believe it or not, we are growing. It's heartwarming when you see the hard work starts paying off. Yeah, and someone said in business, the most difficult, I don't want to say the most difficult, maybe I'm misquoting them, but it's very difficult to get the first client. That's the most difficult side of, I'm not saying of the entire business, getting the first client in terms of getting your clients. And getting your second might be the hardest, the third hardest. But once you there, everything just falls into places. And with this message into place, with this message, I want to encourage you that it might be tough right now. You might not see the light at the end of the tunnel, but just hang in there. Hey, hang in there. The beginning is never easy. It's like a race. I'm a person who hikes a lot and I run sometimes. And when my body is not fully warmed up, it becomes a bit harder to run or jog. But once you are warmed up, or I'm warmed up, and I start feeling the energy, I go. And I become unstoppable. So while you are warm up properly, hang in there, it shall be fine. And with that message, I want to say today we are finally monetized, which means our videos will play the adverts that YouTube offers YouTubers or people who shares their skills and their passions on YouTube platform. And YouTube's way of actually saying thank you to them or recognizing them is to play the ads, and the YouTubers receive money from the ads. So my beautiful family, I want to start off by urging you, pleading with you, begging you to please do not skip the ads. Just go grab a glass of water. You will find me here. The ad will still be playing. The ads will still be playing. Don't cheat, no matter how interesting my message or the video is. Please, I know you won't let me down. Don't skip the ads. And thank you so much. I did set it up, the monetization side of everything today. So congratulations to us. What an amazing milestone to think that I did a video on after a year and 1 month. This is how much I received from YouTube. I got paid from YouTube as a South African YouTuber. And at that time, it was a few days ago, there was nada. I still needed more hours. And thank you for coming through for the public watch hours for me. They are so important. I needed 4,000, and starting from zero, 4,000 a snip up in place. There is Afrikaans in South Africa, which means it's not a walk in a park. And thanks, guys. In today's video, I just want to talk about the challenge that I faced after deciding that yes, I've lived my dream. I've taken my 2023 gap year. I've left my job after and my career after 27 years to travel the world, and I had traveled. I had been to about 12 countries at the time, and 13 because the total was 14. I had been to 13 countries at the time, and my coffers were running dry because obviously I had a budget, and as you all know, some of us tend to go over budget, unplanned, and I'll share that right here as to what exactly happened. And this was not the only incident. I'll talk about the other one some other time. So I had concluded with myself that it was time up. It was time to go back to SA. I had traveled. I was grateful to God. I had spent 6 months abroad, traveling different continents, and my heart was full. That's what we say in SA, when you are fulfilled. My heart was definitely full. So at the time, I was in Nicaragua, and guys, I would like to highlight this, but I'm gonna make a separate video, I beg your pardon, about which countries resonated with my soul and which countries didn't welcome me at all. Not the fact that they didn't want me, but my soul just rejected them, or you know that I feel you, you feel me. In relationships, it's the connection, do we vibrate on the same level? These countries we were just not a match. And no hate on those countries. I still love them to bits, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. And thank God it wasn't a lot of them, but I just got there, and my inner being was like, we ought to leave. And I don't know, but I know for the two is the stage that I was at, and I will share that. So I'll do a different video. I would like to share this. So I was in Nicaragua at that time, and I didn't want to share this destination because I reveal them as a surprise. I also went to surprise. You don't need a visa if you're a South African. Surprise. Okay, enough about surprises. So I had gone to Nicaragua, and I had agreed with myself. I had agreed with my bank balance that, okay, time up. We've had fun. We've seen the world. We've made our dream come true. God has been with us. So it's time to head home. So guys, I booked a flight to come back to SA. And my flight was leaving from Nicaragua, obviously, to go to OR Tambo, South Africa. But my in transit was Mexico, Cancun, not Mexico City. I've never been to Mexico City. I don't want to say I don't desire to go to Mexico City, because the next thing I change my mind, I go and you're like, traitor. I'll never be a traitor, guys. Yeah, but I'm not planning to go to Mexico City as yet. So Cancun. Guys, as a South African resident, you know by now that you need a visa to go to Mexico. So I had a visa, hence I traveled to Mexico, but I traveled when my visa was left with 3 weeks before it had expired. And I thought, the the hassle that I went through applying for this visa, I cannot just let it expire like that. So from Georgia, I headed to Mexico. Even that had its own drama that I'll make a video about. But here, I was done. It's like, home sweet home. It's time to go home. So, booked a flight, going to OR Tambo with one stop in Cancun, Mexico. I was excited. I even did a video, closing everything up, wrapping it up. Couldn't wait to leave the country, and I'll share when I talk about Nicaragua why I was feeling the way I was feeling. So I was looking forward to come back. I was just looking forward. I just needed to come home to SA. Couldn't wait to taste South African cuisine. But guys, then the day came, and yeah, packed my bags, got ready, organized transport to take me to the airport, and I was in a city that is like 2 hours away from the airport. So I'll tell you when we talk about Nicaragua how I got it right and all that. So when I got to the airport, excited as ever, nice and early, went and straight to check in. They asked for my passport, the usuals, gave it to them, and then when they got on the system, they said, okay, ma'am, you're connecting flight to Johannesburg, which is your destination, is in Mexico, Cancun. I said, correct, ma'am. And then the lady said, we are sorry to inform you that as of 2 days ago, there's a new law. You need a visa, in-transit visa, to stop over in Mexico. Guys, if I didn't die that day, I am still gonna live. I'm still gonna enjoy life, Mina. It cut so deep, like a sword, even though I don't know how it feels like when your heart has a cut from a sword. But guys, I said, sorry. And we can see you had a visa for Mexico, but unfortunately your visa had expired, and that was clear. Hence, a few months ago, I went to Mexico so that I don't forfeit that visa that I had. So I asked, what can you help me? How can you help me? Unfortunately, you'll have to book a flight that doesn't take you to Mexico via Mexico, or you ought to apply for in-transit visa. Those who know, in-transit visas are not overnight. In-transit visas are not few hours. In-transit visas, some, I won't speak for all the countries, the ones that I know are like 72 hours wait before you get a response, whether it's an approval or a decline, because you wait for a response. Boy, oh boy, I can never forget that. Guys, I could smell my continent, Africa. I could smell my country, South Africa. I could picture the smiles from my warm South Africans, my family, my loved ones. I just could feel the comfort of my bed. Guys, I just couldn't believe it. And believe you me, that flight left me in Nicaragua because I didn't have the right requirements. And when it comes to that, guys, it is not negotiable. So it is so imperative when you are traveling to check the requirements. And I can tell you another thing, they change all the time. Don't think you traveled last month to a certain country and a transit visa wasn't required for your citizenship. Hope I'm saying it correct. And you travel a month later and you think the same concept will apply. You'll get a huge shock. A huge shock. And that's exactly what happened to me. I'm gonna stop you just for a second. Please forgive me. I need to attend to this and I'll be back. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys for being patient. Don't forget, if this content, only if this content resonates with your soul, you please subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification button so that every time I come live you don't miss out, or you wonder what happened to that lady who used to share information about her travels, about career, about finances. Gandhi, it's because your notification button is not hit. Hit it right now as we speak, and do share your views if you've traveled some other time or now recently and you encountered the same challenge where you thought you checked, or you thought you had everything gathered together as per requirements, and you got to the airport and you were told otherwise. And guys, those who've been traveling with me, because this, as much as it's my travel journey, it's been hours because I've been sharing it with you, know that I've mentioned this over and over, and I've said, don't try this at home. Because I was traveling to different countries back to back, and it was my gap year, and that's all I was focusing on, travel, 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 and every cent had to count. Traveling on budget. I never booked, I think only once, if memory serves me well. I never, guys, booked a ticket with insurance. This means if I'm faced with challenges, I can change it or it can be cancelled. But even that, in most terms and conditions, you need 24-hour notice for changing the dates. But I'm sure if you cancel, guys, I didn't even look at the laws applicable to that. So I would travel. I've traveled about 13 countries, if not all of them, with high risk tickets, which means if the flight is leaving tomorrow, the 31st of December 2023 at 7, whether I'm not feeling well, whether I'm half alive, I ought to be at the airport at 7 tomorrow. That's how bad it was. And I wouldn't encourage anyone to do it. I did it for all of us. So please include the insurance just in case, we live for those situations. Just in case something happens, we pay for these just in case situations, and it makes sense. Someone who thinks clearer than me would definitely include the insurance for their ticket. I never did it, and I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. And guys, sadly, because I was leaving Nicaragua, which is Central America, Latino country, very far from South Africa, to go via Cancun, Mexico, and only fly to South Africa. I don't want to say RSA. SA. That flight was around $27 20,000 rands went down the drain. I never thought I'll be able to sit here and share that, but we ought to share good and bad about traveling. We ought to be transparent so that we at least forewarn people who are yet to travel, especially the younger generation that still will needs are planning to travel in the future and they don't know this information. If you've been traveling, you most probably know, you've heard someone sharing this, and please, if you've encountered the same challenges, do share on the comment section, and let's hear how you got over it and how you eventually wrote that amount off, because you have no choice but to put that behind you and move forward. So I encourage each and every one of you to please, I use this website and I'll leave the link on the comment section. It's called Sherpa. Yes, where you are able to just check a Sherpa. I hope you can see. Here we go. You are able to check. It states there, where in fact you put your citizenship, and I think they've got United States there as a, we call it default. Change it to your citizenship, and where you'll be traveling from, where you'll be traveling to. And there is, guys, I just wanna, or maybe let me do it. There's vaccinated, and on the top there, don't worry about that. So it defaults to USA. They're so important. And then you just change it, guys. I'm wiping there because I'm shiny for a reason. When you've been blowing your nose, you ought to keep your nose moisturized. You don't want it to crack. Sorry, I'm sharing personal info. Oversharing, that's what people say. Please don't overshare, but we learn. We live to learn. South Africa. So if you're Canadian, you're gonna hit that. Now it has changed from US to South Africa. And then where from? Let's say in my case, it will be South Africa. So I've said South Africa there. I just wanna see if, and where am I traveling to? So I'll choose Turkey. Turkey. Where am I? Here we go, Turkey. So once you do that, it asks for date range, enter a date range. So let's just choose a random date. So date range, when are you leaving, when are you coming back? And then you see there's that black section, see requirements. So please, guys, let this be your best friends, or friend rather, because it's one when you are traveling. Most travelers from South Africa can enter Turkey. See below for visa and travel requirements. So already tells you that you need visa to enter Turkey, and it says the visa requirement. You just click there, or in fact you need, there's next to that human being there, that human being is telling you, it's like a robot or artificial intelligence, AI. You need a visa for Turkey if you have a South African passport. So here we go. You need a visa, and it gives you this option to apply online. I'm not sure if you can apply from here, but see details. Then it gives you a whole rundown of what exactly the requirements are. So in this case, electronic visitor visa, and we know you need an electronic visitor visa for Turkey or Turkey if you are South African. Travelers need a visa to visit Turkey for business or tourism. A Turkish e-visa is the fastest and easiest way of obtaining a visa for Turkey because travelers can submit their application and supporting documents online. Once the application is approved, travelers receive their e-visa confirmation electronically. A valid visa is required to board the flight. If the visa is expired or doesn't match the traveler's passport information, travelers will not be able to board their flight. I couldn't board my flight because the requirement had changed 2 days prior to my travel that I needed a visa, in transit visa, to travel via Mexico. It's an amazing website. There's a word live, I guess that's the correct way to say, whenever changes every time there's a change, you immediately will get the latest information. So you won't be traveling because there's so much information, guys. I was overwhelmed at one stage, and this I got from a Turkish embassy or embassy in Turkey. I was asking them something completely different. I can't even recall how we got to them sending me the link to this shipper. I'll share it on the description. I pray I don't forget. You know, once you close the video, you upload the video. In my case, I upload my videos months later. And by then, I just hope I don't forget. But it's SHERPA. You'll get the information there. So you won't be able to board a flight without all the requirements. Whether they are brand new, they changed 2 minutes ago, just be aware of that. So because I couldn't leave Nicaragua, guys, I had to find another country that I could travel to be able to connect and get a flight home, because there isn't a flight from Nicaragua, a direct flight. It's Central America. It is far. Every time someone said, "Where are you from?" I would say South Africa. Oh, so far, you know, that's how far. And not just Nicaragua, Central American countries that I traveled to, they would get a shock. What brings you on this side of the world, you know? So there was no direct flight from Nicaragua straight to Johannesburg or to South Africa, whether Cape Town or East London. So I had to sit and research how to avoid in transit, which country, where can I travel to, where I won't need an in transit visa. And one of the countries that came up was Brazil, or the option was Brazil, which is in South America. I was in Central America. I could go to Brazil, and there's something that put me off. I think the flights were crazily expensive because, guys, remember, I was already wanting to leave. So I wasn't going to book a flight for 2 weeks from then or 3 weeks from then, because we know, unless you get a special, which I haven't seen any, and I've been traveling for a while, last minute flights are so expensive. It's better to book your flight way in advance. And I'm still going to do a video, sorry, because we're talking visa, I'm saying visa, on how I book my flights, and I'll show you. We'll go through the whole process like we've done with Sherpa, although it was brief, but I'm sure you followed. Those who will be using Sherpa, good luck. It's simple, straightforward, on how I book my flights and my accommodation. So I'll share my information on that. And if someone has awesome, better links and website, better way of doing it, you are most welcome to share that on the comment system so that my corporate journey family can benefit from it. So Brazil, getting back to the topic at hand, Brazil was the first option, and there was another country that was a second option. I'm not going to share it because then I would have shared everything and wrapped up my travel. Can I leave you with suspense? I enjoy these suspense movies. So I chose the later. I like it when people say that. And I traveled there, but it wasn't the same day. It was the next day. And even the next day, I had challenges. Yes, and I'll share that because, yes, guys, I will share what happened. So with this message, and I ended up landing in my home country a week later. Yeah, a week later. From the day I was so excited, I was looking forward to it. I could even hear the Hadida saying, oh, wow, 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 in my ear. I was visualizing my country after over 6 months of traveling. I couldn't leave Nicaragua that particular day. And guys, I wanted to leave Nicaragua. And guys, I was distraught. I think for the first time in my traveling, I cried. As big as I am, as matured as I am, aging gracefully as I am. And guys, thanks for the compliment, by the way. Yeah, it can only be God. I said at the airport, I cried till later when, my loved ones came through and booked me a hotel across the road. So they just told me, you ought to cry, because how do we say stop crying? Once you are done, we've booked you accommodation across the road. And they gave me directions, and guys, it was literally across the road. So I leave the airport, I cross the road, and the hotel is there. And obviously the hotels that are near airports are not reasonable, but prices are relative. Maybe for you, 2,500 a night is nothing, 3,000 a night is nothing. But for those who you'll find that they only budgeted 600 rands, 1,000 rands. I'm talking rands. Obviously, Nicaragua has their currency rand equivalent because I am South African, and you can convert it to your own country currency. Guys, the sun is gone. I'm gonna say my goodbyes, and sorry, the video is getting darker now. And apparently there's a way to just make sure that the light doesn't do the mambo jumbo. I must figure out how, the way a person is learning with this YouTube. And that's what is interesting. You learn something new every day. Life is about that. And yeah, it's a challenge. I'm not talking about my learnings on YouTube, but I'll figure that out. So the light is a bit darker now. So I spent another night unplanned in Nicaragua when I thought I would spend the night in transit or in the plane to Mexico, or in Cancun airport, waiting for my connection flights. So I had to kiss that amount goodbye, and it is part of my losses, because I don't want to say it wasn't the first one. It breaks my heart. But I just want to tell you, traveling the way I traveled, and maybe any other traveling, but I want to just concentrate on the gap year traveling, where you are just traveling, or concentrate on someone who's traveling full-time. Let me not say gap year, full-time, back to back, and from one country to the next. You are exploring, you are living your life, you are living the dream that you've been building years back. Please do have a budgeted amount for these unforeseen encounters. Because I thought to myself, when I finally pulled myself towards myself and got to my senses and had to now plan how to or search which other country I can go to besides Brazil, and then how long will it take me, how will I was gonna get there, how was I planning to get there from Nicaragua. I sat and I spent some time thinking to myself, traveling full time is like building a house or extending your house. Renovations, I mean, but not renovations of painting, just painting, and when you're gonna break the walls. And those who knows what I'm talking about. The builder will come and quote you a certain amount, but guys, at the end of it all, that amount doubles if it doesn't triple. So when you're gonna travel full time, please have a buffer for unforeseen circumstances. Because if you don't have a buffer, then who are you going to tend to? You are in a foreign country and you don't want to bother your friends and families about extra thousands. We're not talking hundreds yet, thousands if you missed your flights, unless they have that budget. Because remember, they also are dealing with their own budgets and expenses, and so yes, the message for today is the unexpected do happen while traveling, and some of those, because there's all types of unexpected that happen. Some people lose their bags, some people lose their travel documents. Oh guys, it is a challenge, but and one of these unexpected, or amongst these unexpected, is the case of missing your flight, and you find that now what's next. And if you are naughty like me, you booked a flight, high risk flight, then all your money down the drain. I can't explain the feeling. I wish I could sit in front of you and tell you your heart sinks. You know, the world closes off. You feel like you're in a deep, dark hole. There's no way out when you realize all that money that you could have used for other things, that you could have used when you travel back home to sort out your life. But at the end of the day, it's like anything else in life. It happens, but avoid it. You avoid it by just ensuring, please, I'm begging, I'm pleading with you, by making sure you've got the insurance and you've read the terms and conditions. Because if you've got the insurance but you are trying to claim for something that's not covered by your insurance, the insurance that you took, then it's pointless. You know, if they say we will only change the flight 24 hours before you travel, and you only realize an issue when you are at the airport, then it means you'll be just in the same position or worse off position than me, or exactly like me, when the unexpected happens. So I thought I'll share this. I hope someone learned from this, and if you're planning to travel, just consider the insurance side of things. I'm not encouraging it. I'm not getting profits from the airport. This video is not sponsored, but it is a sensible thing to do. I've been looking for that word. It's a sensible thing to do, and wishing you all the best, and thanks for staying with me, and thanks, and don't forget to subscribe if the content speaks to your soul, like the countries that spoke to my soul or resonated with my soul, and like, share. Yes, let's spread the word. Let's just spread the word, and I will still do content on my corporate journey, which is my work life. I will never abandon that, and I will still every now and then give you content on my wealth journey, which is the financial side of life. And I'm sure there's people who are just here for the finances, and there's people who are just here for my corporate journey, and there's people who are here just for my travel journey, and there are people who are here for all of the above mentioned. And that reminds me of my exam paper, but we're not there. Every time I'm stuck, not sure with the multiple choice question. All of the above mentioned. But thank you so much, guys. May the Almighty God continue to bless you, and see you in the next video. Please travel wisely. God bless.